The Biden administration has initiated the implementation of a sweeping policy shift at the U.S. Mexico border, putting an end to a COVID-era policy called Title 42. The policy that had allowed swift expulsion of many migrants has now expired. With the policy's completion, new asylum rules will come into effect that are meant to deter illegal crossings. Here now is a report.
Amid confusion and uncertainty, the Biden administration on Friday began implementing a sweeping policy shift at the U.S. Mexico border as a COVID-era order known as Title 42 that allowed the swift expulsion of many migrants expired, and new asylum restrictions took effect. Facing concerns that the end of a 3-year-old order could strain U.S. border facilities to the breaking point, U.S. officials were keeping a close eye on the movements of migrants that had already reached record numbers in recent days.
We got a robust plan in place to humanely manage the border through enforcement, deterrence, and diplomacy.
White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre defended the plan at a press briefing on Friday.
We've been very clear. We want a system that's humane, that's orderly. That's what the president said on the first day that he walked into this administration, putting forth a piece of legislation that is comprehensive.
Several last-minute court actions added to questions about how President Joe Biden's reworked border strategy will play out, with advocates filing a legal challenge to the new asylum regulation as it was enacted. Though a chaotic race to U.S. border ports of entry on Thursday appeared to have given way to relative calm on Friday, there was a sense of confusion among some migrants. Communities along the border have worried for weeks that they might be strained by newly arrived asylum seekers awaiting processing or immigration court dates. But Mayor Oscar Leeser of El Paso, Texas, says so far things have been fairly quiet.
We actually have had a very smooth transition as Title 42 has elapsed and we've gone to Title 8. And that really because we had a lot of preparation. We were ready, we were prepared. And, we were preparing for the unknown and we'll still continue to do that.
Meanwhile, Venezuelan migrant Juan Pavon, currently in Mexico heeding the Biden administration's calls to request asylum via the mobile app, CBP One, spoke to Reuters about the urgency of the moment.
That is the result of the desperation in which migrants live, the result of the situation of vulnerability that we have, where we arrive here and we want to leave this country quickly because our lives are in danger and we have many fears. And so what we see is kind of an immediate solution.
Advocates argue the new regulation, put in place by Biden's Democratic administration to curb illegal crossings, resembles restrictions imposed by his Republican predecessor, Donald Trump, that they had successfully blocked in court. Tens of thousands of migrants this week waded through rivers and climbed walls and embankments onto U.S. territory. According to the National Border Patrol Council, around 25,000 migrants were being held in U.S. Customs and Border Protection facilities near the border on Friday, down slightly from record highs earlier in the week.
And for more on this, our correspondent Susan Teherani has sent us this report from New York.
Here in New York, Democrats are begging President Joe Biden to ease the delays in granting work authorization to asylum seekers. 13 members of the Democrat state congressional delegation in a letter are asking President Biden to eliminate the requirement for migrants to wait 180 days before getting a work permit. They're saying that this move would not only lessen the burden on New York and how it's dealing with migrants, but would also save taxpayers a lot of money. Right now, migrants have to wait 150 days until they have work authorization and 30 days for that form to be processed. Also, these group of Democrats who are led by Senator Chuck Schumer say that easing these restrictions would also stop the friction that's going on between local New York leaders on how to deal with migrants. Now, this request comes at a time when New York officials say that the city is at a breaking point. Since last August, some 60,000 asylum seekers have come to New York, and with the removal of Title 42, 1,000 asylum seekers are expected to come to New York each day. It's not yet clear whether or not President Biden will agree to this request by the Democrats in his own party. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World is One.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.